The following program, The Lightning Strike, is sponsored by Mohammed Fahim, and to the extent applicable, their guests. The views and opinions expressed therein do not necessarily reflect those of NewsWeb Radio Company or its management.
Get ready to be jolted out of the ordinary and into a world where conversations are charged with intensity and facts. The Lightning Strike Talk Radio with your host, Mohammed Fahim, broadcasting live from the heart of the city on Chicago's Progressive Talk Radio, WCPT 820 AM. Welcome to a radio show that charges through the airwaves with an electricity like no other. Here's your host, Mohammed Fahim.
Another important thing that I wanted to share with you guys today is very saddened to share with you that former Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee passed away on the 19th in Houston. A great friend of progressive causes, a great friend of the working man. Sheila was one of a kind. I've known her since the early 90s when I was in Houston, and was not expecting this to end so swiftly. She was suffering from pancreatic cancer, and may her soul rest in peace. We'll probably have one of Sheila's closest friend, Lutfi Hasan, calling in from Houston. Lutfi is the Honorary Consul General of Guyana for the Southwestern United States also, and was very, very close with Sheila, and we worked very closely with her also for a long time. Big loss, Marie. What do you say?
Yeah, incredible loss. As I said in my Twitter comments, she represented, she was the consummate warrior for all things equity and equality related. She worked with me on some LGBTQ legislation. She was always right there front and center whenever that issue was, and in a very knowledgeable way. She was a brilliant lawyer, by the way. People don't know that. She was amazing, but her fight, she was a true public servant, and I will tell you, having served with her, she works round the clock. So she will be incredibly missed on the progressive front.
Absolutely, absolutely. So huge loss for our country, folks. Please say a prayer for her, that may her soul rest in peace. If you want to call in and talk about what's happening in the world around us, feel free to call in. 773-763-9278 is the number to reach us. And we started off the show by sharing some very, very sad news about Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee passing away recently. And I have got a good friend of Sheila Jackson Lee's calling in from Houston, Lutfi Hasan. We'll bring him on the air in just a couple of seconds. But feel free to join the conversation. We are focusing today on Project 2025 and what it means for the future of our country. And we have to be very, very cognizant of the fact that they want to change the way that Americans have lived their life and the way that America is headed. Everything is going to change. With that, I would like to bring in Lutfi Hasan, calling in from Houston to talk about Sheila. Lutfi, good morning. You are on the Lightning Strike with Murray Newman, John Arena, Ken DeLuke, and Mohammed Fahim.
Good morning, y'all.
Good morning, Lutfi. So, very, very, very sorry to hear about Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee passing away. Good friend of our community, good friend of the progressive Democrat, and Murray has worked very closely with her in Congress, and Murray was sharing a couple of thoughts with us. Murray, you want to give your impression of what Sheila was like in Congress?
I think she was... go ahead. Sorry, Lutfi.
Go ahead, Lutfi.
Well, thank you so much for having me this morning. Yes, I come to you, joining you with this incredible grief. Yet, I would say deep gratitude for the life that she shared with us. Obviously, Sheila Jackson Lee was a maverick, very independent-minded, and never actually stopped fighting for the underprivileged people. We go way back. I knew Sheila from when she served the city council here and got to know her. And then, of course, she ran for Congress. And And Muhammad, you were a part of that initial inauguration, the Victory Party. I still have a picture of you joining the office, the first congressional Victory Party that we had celebrated with Sheila Jackson Lee.
Yeah, I still remember those days, man. I still remember those days. What a wonderful person, so giving. And you remember that we had that South Asian Friendship Festival that we did, and the Asian American Friendship Festival at the convention center, and Sheila was the chief guest, and you brought her in.
Yes, I mean, I can't tell you how many memories I have. I actually didn't. It didn't register to me. She was sick, and you knew that she was fighting, and kind of at the back of my mind, I knew that the day will come soon that she may just leave this world. But until it did, I was not in that kind of pain that I am since she left us. It has been devastating for me, and obviously I'm very close to the family. Her kids, my kids grew up together, and as you know, Jason Lee is in Chicago. Last week I was in Chicago, and I had lunch with him, and we talked about her, and of course he's here. You know what happened was 24 hours before she passed away, I got a phone call from her cell phone, and I said, I was excited to see the call coming in from Congresswoman's cell phone, and I thought, maybe she's recovering, and maybe a miracle happened, and sure enough, it was actually Jason Lee using that phone calling me and said that you're on a speakerphone and Mom is listening, and go ahead and talk to her. And I talked to her, of course, praying for her and everything. I expressed my family's prayers and love for her and everything. And then, and he said that, Lutfi, listening to your voice, she lit up, she opened the eyes. And this was exactly 24 hours before she passed away.
Oh,
so you can imagine when you have someone so close to you like that go away like this, a legend like Sheila Jackson Lee, I'm in a shell shock.
I'm pretty sure that it was like almost a family member passed away, especially for you. I know how close you were to her. And we'll all say a prayer for her. May her soul rest in peace. And thank you so much for joining us from Houston. That was Lutfi Hasan calling in from Houston, folks. He's the Honorary Consul General for Guyana for the Southwestern United States. And Lutfi, please keep her and in your prayers, and we will definitely keep her in our prayers over here as well. Thank you so much for joining us. And folks, with that was Lutfi Hasan calling in from Houston.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And Murray, you were going to say a few things about your interaction with Sheila before Lutfi called in.
I have one very distinct memory. First of all, her reputation preceded my Congress. I knew of her and her amazing progressive work and her fight for equity and equality and all those good things. So, of course, I revered her before I met her. When I met her, I just remember right away she was one of the most welcoming members to the newbie freshmen. She also immediately reached out to my office to see if she could help with LGBTQ matters, pro-democracy matters with me, anything that had to do with stopping corporate PACs, like all of that. She was so generous, and she was a great mentor too, just to be clear, like helping us decipher the crazy halls of Congress. So I revere her and feel horribly, but I feel gratitude beyond anything I can say for her work.
Yeah, and Lutfi brought back some memories for me also, like when she was first elected. I mean, we were all there. When we were at the Victory Party, now I can almost visualize that thing in the early 90s. That's how far back I go with Sheila also. So, folks, life has a way of, challenging all of us. And this definitely has been a big challenge, a big shock. We knew it was coming. we knew it was coming. And Jason has been in touch with Lutfi very closely, and Lutfi and I basically we grew up together. So we go back all the way to India. We live like a couple of blocks from each other. So that's so good to have friends that you grow up with back over here in this country also.